welcome to dance class. To get started, I'm going to take us through a warm-up to prepare our bodies for the rest of the lesson. Now, take a second, make sure that you're in a space that you can move safely in. You're not going to bump into any furniture or any people that may be following along in the lesson with you. Okay. So to start our warm-up, we're going to start in a seated position. We call this butterfly position sometimes, where the palms of your feet are together and your knees are bent. If this is uncomfortable though, you can switch to this position. Pick whichever one works best for your body, okay? So starting in the position that works for you, I'm going to start by nodding my head, then shaking my head no. And I'm not moving too fast because I am warming up. I want to make sure I get my body ready for the rest of the movement we're going to be doing. And then I'm going to circle my head the other way. And now I'm going to take my arms, I'm going to reach straight up to the ceiling. I'm going to reach one arm really high, switch, and switch, and switch. Now I'm going to reach to the side, reaching towards this wall over here, reaching towards this wall over here. I'm only reaching as far as I can before I might start to fall over. And then I'm going to use this hand right here, I'm going to place it on the ground to help support my body as I stretch all the way over like this. Making sure I'm really reaching to feel a stretch in this side of my body. And switch. Also making sure I'm breathing as I'm stretching. And switch. And switch. Now I'm going to take my side stretch and make a circular motion starting from the side. I'm going to bring my body forward towards the center and then all the way over to the other side. I'm going to repeat that going in the other direction all the way around until I get to the other side. And then all the way around. And then one more time, all the way around. And then I'm going to come up to a seated position and bring my legs forward. I'm going to start by shrugging my shoulders up and down. So I'm bringing my shoulders close to my ears, as close as I can. And then I'm going to alternate going from one shoulder to the other. Now I'm going to circle my shoulders from the front to the back, then do the same path with my elbows, then do the same path with my arms. I'm going to take a deep breath in and exhale as I start to reach towards my toes, stretching the backs of my legs. Now, if you cannot reach your toes, that's okay. Reaching as far as you can. That might be your ankles, it might be your shins. But as long as you're reaching and feeling that stretch but in the backs of your legs, then you've got it. Holding that for a few seconds. And then I'm going to do it one more time. Rolling my shoulders back, elbows back, arms back, and then stretching towards my toes. And put my hands behind me so that I can rest here, and then I'm going to point my toes forward and then flex my toes back up towards the ceiling, pointing them forward and then flexing up towards the ceiling to really get my ankles and feet more warmed up. Now I'm going to switch, going from one foot to the other foot. Now I'm going to take this leg out to the side, bring this foot in, and I'm going to reach towards this toe over here. Again, make sure I'm using my breath, breathing in and exhaling, so that I can stretch further. And then I'm gonna switch this leg out, this leg in, taking a deep breath in, and exhaling as I stretch forward. Again, if you're not able to reach your toes, that's okay. We're reaching as far as we can. It might be your ankle, shin, or might be your toes, and that's great. And then we're gonna do one more stretch. I'm bringing both legs out. I'm reaching towards the center, and I'm just gonna walk my hands forward until I really feel like I've reached my maximum stretch. I'm gonna keep breathing though while I'm here. And then I'm gonna shake my legs. And then I'm gonna come to standing. Now that I'm standing, I'm gonna practice my balance. I'm gonna start by just bringing my weight to one foot and lifting up the other foot and holding that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then, if that was really easy for you, you can challenge your balance by changing the position of your leg while you are balancing. So I'm gonna try for 10 seconds and move my leg around while I'm balancing to really challenge my balance. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. How'd you do? Let's try the other leg. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Awesome. So now that we have done some stretching and worked on our balance, the last part of our warm-up is to do some locomotor movements. A locomotor movement is any movement that goes from one place to another place. I like ending my warm-ups like this because it really gets my heartbeat going and I really feel warm and ready to dance. So pick some of your favorite locomotor movements or try the ones that I'm doing. So now that we're warmed up, let's get started with our lesson. Let's start by taking a look at our objective to see how we're going to use dance in order to learn the game musical shapes. We can explore how to create shapes by using different parts of your body and different levels in order to play the game musical shapes. So first things first, let's think about what our objective is saying. One thing I really want to be thinking about to start is what kind of shapes am I already familiar with? Things like a square, circle, or hearts are basic shapes that all of us are familiar with. And maybe starting with something nice and easy. How do I make those shapes with just my hands? All right, and one way that I'm gonna do that is just thinking about the shape and how it's made up of different types of lines. So a square is made up of straight lines. So if I'm using my hands, I wanna have some straight lines, and then I can put them together in order to make a square. A circle is made up of a curvy line all the way around. So I want to try to make my hands and fingers as curved as possible to make a circle. A heart has those curvy lines at the top and straight lines coming down at the bottom where it meets. So if I wanted to make that, I'd want to try and have straighter lines at the bottom with my thumbs and curved lines with my fingers in order to make the shape of a heart. And that's a great way to get started with exploring shapes with your body. Take a second and think about some other shapes that you're familiar with and try creating them with your hands. Before we start exploring how we're creating shapes with our entire body, let's take some time to learn the vocabulary we heard in our objective and we'll continue hearing and using throughout the lesson. So the first word that popped up in our objective was create. We're gonna be creating today. Also means that we're gonna be making something today. So we're creating shapes, we're making shapes with our body. Shape. Shape in dance, you might also use the word pose because we're talking about the position that we're putting our body in. So the pose or the shape that our body will be in. Locomotor movement, we also talked about during our warm-up, is any movement that goes from one place to another. An example would be run or jump or hop. Levels. Levels we're going to use today to create variations in our shapes. So there are 3 levels. High, meaning we are high up off the ground. Medium, we're getting closer to the ground, in between, not quite to the ground yet. And low, meaning we are very close to the ground or on the ground. Take some time to look at the next image to find shapes that can inspire your movement. You can choose to use these shapes, you can draw your own shapes, or use these shapes to take a look around your house and see if you can find objects that match some of the shapes in the image. Are you ready to try this out? Let's draw or gather your shapes. Now, make sure you have at least 3 shapes. Once you have all your shapes gathered, the first thing you want to do is spread them out in the space. Now they're spread out, it's time for me to create some of these shapes with my body. Let's go. So how'd you do? Were you able to make shapes on all 3 levels? A high, medium, and low level? Remember, we want to use levels to create variations in our shapes. And remember, when you're making your shapes, there are no wrong answers. It's your interpretation of the shape or object in your body. So I think we're ready to play musical shapes now. You either need to have music, or if you don't have music, you can choose to use counts. So what you're gonna do is either play music or count. I'm gonna choose to count to 8. When I get to 8, whatever shape I'm closest to, I'm going to go to and create that shape. The shape can be different than what you did the first time, or it can be the same. But in between, when the music is playing or when you're counting, you're using locomotor movements to move throughout the space. Again, you're moving around using locomotor movements, and when you get to your count or the music stops, you quickly go to the shape that you're closest to and you make that shape. Are you ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm closest to the triangle, so here I go. I'm gonna make my triangle shape. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Closest to my paper towel or my cylinder, so I'm gonna make my cylinder shape. I'm gonna do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I'm pretty close to my orange. I'm gonna make that shape. I think it was something like this. For the last part of our lesson, let's take some time to think about how we used our bodies to create those amazing shapes inspired by the drawings or objects that you found. So in the print pathway packets, you'll find in the show section, there is a little table where you can write how you created your shapes. So you're only choosing 3, so if you made more, just pick your 3 favorite. So I'm gonna write the shape that I made, what level I performed the shape on, and how I used my body to create the shapes. So each section of your table would look something like this. Thanks so much for joining me for dance class today. I hope that you were able to explore and create some amazing shapes with your body. Most of all, I hope that you had fun, and I hope that you keep dancing.